How you guys doing this morning, I guess? Good. You guys just finished team run?
Yeah.
Team run, okay. So everyone's got relief knowing that you don't have to worry about workouts later.
Yeah.
But, all right, so they've talked about it. No excuses. I mean, we've all heard from our parents or coaches, one point or another. And I was like maybe some of you guys growing up. I've heard it, but I never understood it until my dad told me it right after I started dealing with the biggest trial of my life. As Jazz said, my name is Will Lambley. I'm a junior here at Arkansas, and something you guys are going to learn over the next year is you're going to be seeing me a lot, whether it's walking on campus or around the foot facility, at practice, or whatever it is. But something you're about to figure out is, as some of you guys saw me walk up with a stick, you're probably wondering, what in the world is this even for? Is I will not be seeing you at all. And to make things easier, I just got the shirt. Yes, I am blind. And one of the biggest questions that I get asked being blind is, what's it like? Like, how do you even function in life? To make it easier for you guys, I cannot tell any of you guys are there. But I would know someone is in front of me if they're about right here, but I would not know who it is. So the only way I can tell who someone is by hearing their voice, or someone who has a really distinct voice. You guys know those people that you can hear them from a mile away. You're like, just be quiet, dude. But, and I will always you're always gonna see me wearing these glasses around, whether it's in the facility or outside, because it helps the pressure on my eyes, because of too much light gets on my eyes throughout the day. They can cause pressure and just cause them to wear down, just a slight pain. And another reason I wear these glasses is because if I take these off and you get real close to me and like look at me, my eyes they can't control where they're at, so they're just going all over the place. And I've came across situations where people didn't know I was blind and they got real confused by what I was doing. A few years ago, I was at a gas station and I was with one of my buddies. And I went to order a drink, and as I handed the drink to the lady, the cashier, I was waiting for her to hand it back to me. And as I was waiting, she didn't say anything back. And I was like, shoot, is this lady still here? Like, what's going on? And as I was waiting, she said, sir, I know what you're doing. And I was like, ma'am, I do not know what I'm doing. Like, I'm confused. And then she said again, sir, what are you doing? And at this point, I was like, okay, like, what is she actually talking about? Then she hit me with, sir, please stop checking me out. And I was like, what in the world? And then as I walked out of there, I was talking to my buddy, and I'm like, man, what was that lady on? And he's like, dude, I think your eyes must have somehow been looking at her, but you didn't know it, so that lady thought you were checking her out. And I've came across many situations that have been funny since I've been blind, and I've came across, just like you guys, many hard times, as life will throw hard times at us. But one of the biggest blessings through being blind has been the opportunities it's presented by simply making no excuses, including the opportunity to be up here today with you guys. Let me tell you guys about how I got here. Like a lot of kids growing up, there's nothing more that I love to do than be around my friends, play sports, and just compete in whatever it was. And I never thought this would change in any way. But everything surely and slowly started to change in December 2018, as I was 16 years old, in a high school football game. During this game, I looked up at the scoreboard and realized I couldn't tell what the score was. Then I ran onto the field as I was on punt team, and as I was running down the field as the ball was punted, I looked up to try to figure out where the ball was, and I was like, I have no idea where the ball is. And as I kept running, the only way I knew where the ball was is from hearing my coaches and teammates yelling at me. And I was just like, shoot. And as I jogged to the sideline, I got to the sideline and realized I could tell who each one of my teammates were, but they were just blurry. And I remember thinking, I have no idea what's going on, but surely the next day I'll go to an eye doctor and I'll just need a prescription to wear glasses or something that'll help my sight. Since up to this point, all I knew was 20/20 sight. 2 weeks after this game, I was driving my sister somewhere, and we stopped at a light. And as I got to the light, I looked up and realized not only could I not tell the color of the light, but I also couldn't even tell like the shape around the light. And it was in this moment, more than anything, I got worried. And I looked to my sister and said, Taylor, I have no idea what's going on, but can you somehow just help me figure out how to get back home? And luckily, we made it back home that day. But it was that moment that I realized after having my license for 4 months, I can no longer drive. as I kept going to school and doing everything that I knew my whole life, things started to get harder, as you could imagine, as my sight kept diminishing and I had no idea what was going on. Me and my family, we're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we kept going to eye doctor after eye doctor in the area. And I remember every appointment thinking, surely they're gonna know what's going on with my sight. Surely this person's gonna know, or that person's gonna know, right? But after doing tests, scans, MRIs, trying to figure out, is there a tumor causing me to lose my sight? Even got sent to therapy, trying to figure out, is there something psychologically going on? Each doctor had no idea. And I remember leaving each appointment with more and more frustration. And it was a month after this game that I remember walking into school one day and sitting at my desk, looking to the person right next to me, and I realized not only was he blurry, but I couldn't even tell where his face was. Then I went to baseball after school that day, as baseball was my favorite sport growing up, what I wanted to do in college. And as I went to baseball, I remember trying to hit a ball off the tee. The ball was right in front of me. I remember as I looked down at it, I realized I had no idea where it was. And it was in this moment that I was like, what do I even do with my life? What is going on? Then 2 months after this game, I went to the best eye clinic in Oklahoma, where going into this appointment, I thought, surely they're the best, not just in my area, but in the state. They're gonna know what's going on with my sight. They'll be able to fix it so I can live life again, right? And as I was at this appointment, all day with my parents, doing every test you could imagine someone doing on your eyes, that night, the doctor came in and told us a word that we never thought we would hear. Living 16 years of my life with 20/20 sight, being able to drive, play all the sports I love to do everything like a normal teenager could do. But that night, doctor came in and said, Will, we don't completely know what's going on with your sight, but what we do know is there might be a chance that you're blind. As we heard this word, nothing was said in the room, but you could almost hear the shock and feel the shock of, what do I even do? Where do I even go? As we don't fully know that I'm blind, but we know there might simply be a chance. I was just lost for words in this moment. As I kept going to school and trying to figure out what I'm even gonna do with my life, it was finally 5 months after this game, all the way at Johns Hopkins Eye Institution in Baltimore, Maryland, that they officially diagnosed me blind. And when I got the official diagnosis, I remember the first questions I asked myself was, where do I even take my next step? And why is this happening to me? Just simply not even knowing what to do. And as I got back home from Baltimore, 2 weeks had passed. And I remember like it was yesterday, one day my dad came into my room and said, Will, you might have just been thrown a curveball, and you might have no idea where to even go in your life. But I promise you this, you still can do everything you want to do in your life, but the only way that's possible is if you make no excuses. In the moment when he told me this, I remember thinking, okay, that's easy for him to say. He can see everything around him. He can drive. His life's fine, right? But as I really started to think about this question of you can do everything you want if you make no excuses, I realized something. What if I just simply made no excuses? Did not feel bad for myself, but said, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make no excuses. And when I finally started to make no excuses, I was still able to do everything I wanted to do. Sure, was it hard? At times, yes. But those are the times I'm most thankful for. By making no excuses, I was still able to play high school football my junior and senior year, which you guys are probably like, how in the world did this happen? And what my team did is I gained some weight, and they actually lined me up at nose guard. So the defense ends would help me get on the field and line me up right in front of the center. And my job every play was to just knock over the center and make a lane for the linebackers. And there was many times at practices, workouts, or even in games where I remember just getting frustrated thinking, I just want my life to be like it used to be. But what I realized is I was able to make just as big of an impact, if not even more, on my team by not thinking about, oh, what it used to be or what it could be, but instead being thankful for where I was at and just simply making no excuses. Then in the classroom, it was so hard at first to just figure out how I'm gonna type on a computer, not be able to see it. Figure out how to find a book, or just do your normal tasks that any student has to do. But by simply making no excuses, there's still a way for me to function in the classroom in high school and function now at the University of Arkansas by making no excuses. Then you're probably wondering, how do I navigate around any area that someone can see, can navigate around? Whether it's a grocery store, a building like this, or University of Arkansas campus. And there's been many times when I'm navigating around areas that I find myself in an area I have no idea where I'm at. But in those times, the biggest thing that helps is not saying, I wish my situation was different. Rather, what helps is saying, I don't care what's going on around me because I can control what's in me by making no excuses. And that's exactly why I'm here today, guys. Because in life, what I've learned is when you make no excuses, you don't just have to go through life and get really high when something good happens, or get really low, or as people like to say now, down bad when bad things happen. But instead, you have the opportunity to grow through life, no matter what. No matter if it's in your personal life, academically, spiritually, or out there on that field. You have the opportunity to grow every day by making no excuses. And how you grow is by remembering these 4 simple tasks that have nothing to do with anything around you, but everything to do with you. And it comes from this acronym I've made for growth. It all starts with the G, being grateful. How can you be grateful despite what's going on? Then you go to the R, which stands for resilience. How can you find a way to just simply get back up and keep going? Next is the O, which stands for optimism. How can you find hope in the darkest rooms? Then finally, what it all comes down to being able to grow is the W. How can we catch the dub on the field and in life? And it all comes down to, what is your why? And being grateful all starts with the G. Or being able to grow all starts with being grateful. Something that reminds me to be grateful is my stick, which helps me figure out where I'm at and where I need to go. But the only way it works, guys, is when I stay in the moment. If I focus too much on what's in front of me, I usually miss a step. If I focus too much on what's behind me, I'm usually just lost. But when I stay in the moment, there's always something I know I can be grateful for. Whether it's being able to just be a college student, or the people that God has placed in my life, including some great people in this room, Jazz, Neil, and Danny. Because when I'm walking around areas, I am the easiest guy not to talk to. But every time I'm at an Arkansas football practice, those 3 guys always go out of their way to talk to me. Not because it benefits them in any way, but because they genuinely care about the people around them more than themselves. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for. Or just the opportunity to be able to speak to groups across the country, be able to speak to you guys and see how you guys are going to grow these next couple years and become great players and, more importantly, great people. So now in your life, I want you to ask yourself a question. What is your stick? What's something that keeps you in the moment and reminds you to be grateful? For some, it might be a family member who you know, no matter what, is going to love and support you. For others, it might be someone like a friend or someone at this campus who you know, no matter how that workout just went, how practice goes, how you do on game days, is going to believe in you like no one else. For the rest of you guys, it might just be being grateful for that kid who feels like he doesn't have much hope at all in his life. But when he turns on the TV to watch you guys run out on the field on Saturdays, he's able to find a hope that he didn't even know he could have, because each and every single one of you guys. So whatever it is that keeps you in the moment, remember that. And let's be grateful, guys. The next part of being able to grow is being resilient. My stick also helps me be resilient. But as you guys know, we're always going to face something we didn't know was there in life. For me, even though my stick helps me, there's many times I might run into a scooter on campus that I didn't know was there. As you guys know, man, people put scooters anywhere and everywhere, like bars, middle of the street, it doesn't matter. Like, they can be anywhere on campus here. But other times, I might just slip and fall on ice. Other times, I might miss a step and come tumbling downstairs and lose my balance. But what I've realized, fellas, is everyone has been in situations just like these, where you've ran into something you didn't know was there, whether it's in your personal life or in football. You fell down and you didn't know if you could get back up. Or you might have just missed that step and it feels like everything you knew comes tumbling down. But what I want to encourage you with is, in life, things are going to happen. You might be facing adversity right now, or it might be a few years down the road, or 20 years down the road. But whatever it is you face, never make adversity stronger than your response. Because whatever you face, you can always make the choice to get back up. That's my challenge, guys. Whatever you face, no matter how big, strong, whatever it looks, get back up and ask yourself the question, how can you be resilient? And the next part of being able to grow is the O, which stands for optimism. How can you find hope no matter what? One of the biggest things that helps give me optimism every day is right here, my eyes. Most of the time when I tell people that, they're like, no way. Like, you're just joking. But the reality is, it does give me optimism every day. Because there's so many people that I come across that say something like this. How? How can you still have a smile on your face? Or, I feel so bad for what you went through. And usually when people say this, I usually laugh and say, if you only knew. If you only knew how by simply just having a positive attitude, I've been able to turn what so many think is a disadvantage into an advantage in my life and in lives that I came across. Because I promise you this, guys, when you have a positive attitude, it won't only change your life, but there's so many people that you come across that are going to be impacted in a positive way. We just simply say, I'm not going to let whatever that disadvantage in my life looks like be stronger than my attitude. And when you do this, you'll turn that disadvantage into an advantage in your life and in so many lives that you encounter. That when they come across you, they're going to know, my day is going to be better because of that person. Because of that person. Because I know no matter what I'm going through or what they're going through, they're going to have a positive attitude. And because they have a positive attitude, I have no option but to be positive. So that's my challenge, guys. How are you going to find a way to be positive and be optimistic no matter what? And the final part of being able to grow is the W. How can we catch the W on and off the field? What is your why? When I first started losing my sight, this was one of the hardest questions to ask myself. As I kept going to school, but I'm not gonna lie, at times it was highly embarrassing and just disappointing. I would sit in the classroom and I couldn't see anything on the screen in front of me, and I looked down at my keyboard and I couldn't tell what any of the letters said. The only way I knew where my teacher was and classmates were was from hearing their voices. One day, I heard one of my classmates ask me, "Why are you still coming to school, man? You can't even do anything in here. It's hard for you to even find the class. Why are you still coming?" And I remember as he asked me this thinking, man, why am I still coming? Is this even worth it? Why do I do this? And what I realized after thinking and praying about this is why I get up every day. Why you guys are going to see me around the facility and around campus with a smile on my face is because my life is no longer about me. It's about how can I make someone else's day better? How can I not be a taker anymore, but be a giver? By seeing how can I do something that makes someone else have a better day? How can I go out of my way to do whatever it takes to help someone else? And when I started to do this, fellas, I realized, sure, we might face adversity in life that's greater than anything we can imagine, where we ask ourselves the question of, why is this happening? But when you have a why that is greater than you can always get through that hard circumstance. So I challenge you, whatever your why is, make it about someone else. Make it about something greater than you. So when you face adversity today, in your time at Arkansas, later down the road, and you ask yourself the question of, why is this happening? You can look to this person, that one person you came across that one time and say, I'm gonna keep going because my why is about them. My why is gonna push me to not sit around and feel bad for myself, but rather make no excuses and be the change this team and the world truly needs by being grateful, resilient, optimistic, and knowing what is your why every single day. By doing this, fellas, you don't just have to go through life and get really high when good things happen, really low when bad things happen, but rather you have the opportunity every day to grow through life. And just as my dad told me, I've had the opportunity to tell many groups, I'm telling you guys the same thing. And I'm not just saying this. I believe this about every single person in this room. Anything you want to do in your life, whether it's academically, in your personal life, in football, or later down the road in business, you can do, despite whatever the adversity is going to be. But sometimes you're going to have to stare adversity right in the eye and say, you don't know me. I'm not going to lay down and feel bad for myself and make excuses. Rather, I'm going to make this decision to not just go through life, but grow through life. And no matter the obstacle, I'm going to make no excuses. Thank you guys for having me out today. I love all you guys, and anything you ever need, I'll be around the university, and anything you ever need, I'm always here for you guys. Love you guys.
Let me check this out. Will's our guy now. This part of the family, this brother. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see him walking around campus. That's why I say no excuses, man. He has no excuse. You're going to see him walking everywhere he goes. He ain't trying to put no front on, no stunt, no nothing like that. Guess what he going to be at on the sideline in practice? He going to be right there. You're going to run by after a drill, he going to be standing right there. He always does. At every game, guess what we'll be at, y'all? On the sideline. We'll love this stuff, man. Not because he just want to do it or he just got passion for doing it. It's just Will. That's who he is. So he a brotherhood. He part our brother. We look out for Will. We'll look out for him. Will got a podcast. I encourage y'all to get on his podcast. If he asks y'all to get on it, jump on it, man. It's real. I ain't even know my guy Neil was on it. He didn't tell me Neil was on it last year. He told me yesterday. Oh, snap, I ain't even know it. This guy, dude, man, he's doing a lot of great things in our community, a lot of great things for us as Hall. And I'm glad to let him know he's part of the family. So what I want to do before he leaves, I want every last one of y'all, because he know of y'all, but he recognizes you with your voice. So when he see you on the field, he be spot on now. No lie, like he got it down pat. No matter who's yelling, who's talking, who's going through drills, he's like, hey, Danny, it's 7-on-7 right here, right? I'm like, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 6 cents.
You know what I'm saying? So, start with Selman. Say your name, full name, and just where you from and position.
I'm Selman Bridges. I'm from Temple, Texas, when I play DB.
I'm Charleston Collins. You might remember me at
Yeah.
Charlotte. We met last
Yeah, I remember that over there by the goalpost thing.
Yeah. I'm from Palm Arkansas. I'm from D-line.
Tibbs Mecca, I play DB, Clarksville, Mississippi.
You really into TJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
The twin.
Okay.
Nah, that twin.
Okay, I was like, man, I
This is his little brother, yeah.
So, I'm Braylon Russell. I'm from Benton. I play running back.
I'm KJ Jackson. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I play quarterback.
It's gone.
I'm Makari Johnson from Texarkana, Texas. I play DB.
Juju Pope, Mississippi, DB. CJ Brown, W. Arkansas.
My name is Killer Graham from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I play O-line.
Missouri Madison from Lexington, Kentucky. Play O-line.
I'm Jay Allen, forward Texas, DB. My name is Justin Logan. I play linebacker. I'm from Georgia.
That's everybody, man. So I'm sure we'll see you'll hear all these names. Hopefully in the fall, you'll hear a lot of it in the spring ball. But look, when you see Will, man, go doubt Will up. Holler in your name. Say, what's up, Will? I promise you, see him in the West. If you need anything, holler at him. Appreciate you, Will.